Hello YouTube world, welcome back to the channel. The project I got from you is this railway sleeper. I was recently having a poke around in my building reclamation yard and he had these railway sleepers in there. I'm not sure whether he said the railway sleepers are from Malaysia or the wood's from Malaysia, but he said it is a sustainable hardwood and they're £30 each, and I thought, well, if I can buy that much hardwood for £30, that'd be quite a good bargain. I cut a piece off my chainsaw, but it is rock hard, very dense, very heavy, not sure what it is, but as you can see I had it drying in my wood store and it is really badly cracked all along the top. Massive great cracks opened up and all through there. So it will be interesting to see what it turns up like. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a faceplate on this side and get it mounted on the lathe and we can start turning. I'm going to make sure I've got my air scrubber on, because when I put that on the bandsaw, the dust that was coming off of there was very fine, and I know some of these hardwoods the dust can be carcinogenic, so I'm going to also make sure I've got my power cap on. So what I've done now, I've roughed this down into shape I want. There's some massive great cracks running through there. They're all going to need to be addressed very shortly. So I think what I'm going to do now is put a tenon on this end, turn it into the finished shape, and then we'll sort those cracks out. Now this will be interesting because I've never done this before. The massive great cracks running all the way down through there. What I'm going to do is use some acetate. I'm going to put some hot melt glue around there, stick a bit of tape over the top, and then pour resin in there. And as I say, never done this before, so it'll be interesting to see what the results are. What I've done is left a little bit of a fold in there, probably a little bit too much on that one, because I want a reservoir where to pour my resin down in. Do the same on this one. Right, I'll work my way around there, and I'll get back to you when I'm finished. First thing I need to do is mix up the resin, which is 2 parts resin and 1 part hardener. So I've never done this before, so I'm only going to mix up a little bit to start with. And I want a real contrast between that dark wood, what I'm putting in there. So I've gone for this metallic emerald green. So here we go, let's keep our fingers crossed so don't pour it out all over the place. I'll fill that one slightly. It's pretty good so far. Right, this is the deepest one. You see I've made that fold in there way too big. Appears to be okay at the moment. So that's it. It seems to be holding quite well. There was a few leaks in there, but you can apply the hot glue gun even with the leak there. It seems to work quite well. This big one here was a main crack that ran right the way down through there. I've topped that up about 4 times already, because I'm guessing that crack is quite big where it runs into the wood, and the levels dropped down again already. So what I've done is I left a little bit in the pot, and what I'll do is I'll come back down later on. I'll give it about an hour, and then I'll come down and I'll just top them all off again. So I'll leave that for the time being. You can come back and have a look at it in the morning. Well, there we go, YouTubers. In YouTube times, it has been but a blink of an eye. In real time, it's been about 3-4 days. This worked really well on the whole. This one leaked, so I put a bit of tissue on there to try and stem it. But what I did in the end, I went back in, I put hot melt glue up underneath and just squidged it into place, and it did stop it leaking. So I was very pleased with that. Now all I've got to do is take all this off, and it's peeling off quite easy. Getting clean all that off and I'll get back to you. So I've just got to remove all the excess resin now, and I'm using my skew chisel and just using it as a negative rake scraper. I do find these scrapers work a lot better on this resin rather than a conventional tool. You see on there it is gradually coming down. I was a little bit worried that the resin hadn't gone off properly, because I was getting a lot of white sort of flaky stuff coming off, but it turned out it was actually the hot melt glue. It was sort of chewing up really, rather than, you can see it on there, rather than cutting it off, it was sort of just coming off in flakes. But once you get past that and you get down to the wood, it's not a problem. So it's just a matter now of just continuing through. You see at the bottom there, that's gradually coming through. I had hardly any resin at the bottom piece. I cleaned up nearly all of the resin, and I just resorted back to my spindle gauge just to make a clean up cut up through. Take the resin, clean up the wood at the same time. That wood is incredibly hard, it really is. I'm not sure if it was that resin or if it's something in the wood. It dulled that chisel almost straight away. I'm really struggling there to get the chisel to bite. And what I do is I take the cut up through and then just go away and sharpen it, and then try with another cut up through just to give me a clean up cut to leave me a nice finished surface. I've never come across wood like this before, I really haven't. But you can see on there just beginning to where that filled those cracks up, and I was very, very pleased with that. It worked extremely well. Well, I've sanded that down to 600, and as you can see, that's come up really nice. It's quite a subtle grain pattern running through there, but there's all these flecks of white running through there. So let's go with some sand and sealer. I've got to say, since I was only sanded at 600, that was an incredibly good finish on there. But that wood is so hard, it's unbelievable. Bring those green stripes out. Buff that up. Next I'm going to apply some microcrystalline wax. That's such a good finish on there, you probably won't see a lot of difference. Oh, perhaps you will. Look at that. Wow. Different colours in there. Black streak running right the way through there. That's where the big crack was. That's, you see where I filled it that green. Right, now let's get and turn it around. And blow it out. And if the inside's as hard as the outside, that's going to be a lot of work and a lot of tool sharpening. So that's all the outside finished. I need to hollow it now, but I need to take down probably a good half inch off of there, 20mm, something like that. So I'll take that off of there first. That has blunt that tool already. Is that one blunt? Is that one blunt? What I'm going to do now is just put large forcing bit straight down through there. That's a forcing bit put down through the middle. It took me nearly an hour to do that. I even had to sharpen the forcing bit out 4 times just to get down through there. I need my face mask on first. I have 5 bowl gauges of different sizes, and I went away, I sharpened them all up because that wood was just blunt almost straight away. And I found the best thing to do, I did about 4 or 5 passes with the chisel before it was blunt. So what I ended up doing was starting from the outside of the bowl and working in until it was blunt, and then I turned the chisel around and worked from the inside out. So I was actually blunting both sides of the chisel, so that when I sharpen it up I won't waste any of my time or chisel. I've just stopped this for a minute because I want to show you how effective that was filling that with resin. You can see where those big cracks were, and the cracks come right the way through the wood, but you can see how the resin seeped all the way through there. I was ever so pleased with that. So this project really, just for that experiment alone, was worth it. You see all of those cracks where the resin seeped all the way through, filled them up completely. So not only don't I have to worry about filling the cracks on the inside afterwards, I know that I've also got a very stable piece of wood to work with, which is very good. Very pleasing. Now I don't know what made me think of this, but I picked up my hollowing tool, and on the end of there's a 12mm negative rake scraper. I thought I would give it a go. I think it's probably because I was fed up sharpening chisels, but it worked extremely well, and I couldn't quite understand why. The wood didn't blunt it at all.
and it cut most effectively, because all of a sudden I'm getting shavings coming off instead of just bits of dust. So as you can see, that's ripping through that wood quite quickly. I did find hollowing of this, you get much more aggressive cuts pushing the cutter into the middle of the bowl. If I tried to do the same coming out, I've got a lot of vibration, a lot of chatter on the tool, but coming out with the tool you can get really fine cuts, really nice finishing cuts on it. But if you want to rough it away very quickly, pushing it into the middle is a way to go. And just see there, I bought a small clamp-on LED light. Absolutely brilliant that is for hollowing and working bowls. Gives you light. It will tuck up underneath my tool rest, which is really good. You can get it out of the way, but certainly illuminates the inside of the bowl. It's all pretty much finished in there now. I've got a really nice finish in there. So all I need to do now is get to sanding and then apply some sand sealer and some polished. But I am quite pleased with the inside of there. That's come up really nicely. Well, that's all sanded down to 320. No, 400 it was, wasn't it? So now we just need a bit of sand sealer. And then a bit of micro crystalline wax. Beautiful shine on that. Well, there we go, YouTube world. All finished. I'm quite surprised that did get done actually. That was hard work. I can't understand why that negative rake scraper on my hollowing tool cut that so well, and yet my conventional tools didn't. I don't understand that at all. As soon as I started using that scraper in there, I was getting long shavings, twisted shavings coming off. With my tools I was just getting like bits of sawdust. I think as an experiment for putting in that bits of acetate with the hot glue, just put like a little reservoir around there and just fill in that. That's worked really well. I'm really pleased with that. And the resin, as you can see in there, has soaked right the way through. And then there as well. That bowl is heavy. Anybody want to buy that by the pound, they're going to get their money's worth. Beautiful finish on there. There are some tear outs on that side. I just couldn't get them out on the end grain. The trouble is you can't keep the tool sharp enough, long enough to make a nice cut up through there. But what there is, I'm very pleased with that. That does look beautiful. I'll put some stills up at the end, you can have a look at it. Lovely finish on there, beautiful shine. Let's shine on that. Not sure what that one is, but whatever it is, it's extremely hard. Very difficult to work with, but quite a pleasing result. Well, I've been Steve Howe. I hope you had a good day. It's been an hard day's work, but very enjoyable. You take care of yourself, and I'll see you all again next week. Bye bye.